This looks like a scene from a post-apocalyptic movie, but it's a real sandstorm sweeping across northern China. On March 15, a sandstorm, rare in the past 10 years, suddenly hit Beijing from the north and then spread to the south of China. By the evening of March 16, Beijing time, nearly 17 provinces in China were affected by the sand and dust.
看到就觉得是世界末日嘛，然后
有一点科幻电影的感觉。
The storm led to spikes in pollution measurements on the 15th, with levels reaching 160 times the recommended limit in some areas. Hundreds of flights were canceled or grounded. The Chinese Meteorological Bureau issued a weather alert on the 15th, predicting the strongest sandstorm in nearly a decade, as well as a second wave of sand and dust on March 19 to 20, affecting parts of China's central and western Inner Mongolia, the Heshi Corridor, and Ningxia. South Korea is also being affected, with a sharp drop in air quality across the country, including the Seoul metropolitan area. The South Korean Weather Service said on the 16th that the sandstorm originated in the Inner Mongolia Plateau and the Gobi Desert. The Chinese Communist Party is sensitive to what the South Korean Weather Service calls sand and dust storms originating from the Inner Mongolia Plateau and the Gobi Desert. Inner Mongolia is a province of China, and Mongolia is China's northern neighbor. Chinese state-run media such as the Global Times and Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian have tried to present the sandstorm as a foreign disaster.
此次沙尘天气源自中国境外，中国只是途经站。中国舆论没有因为蒙古国可能是上一站而加以指责，各方都应该以科学和建设性的态度看待相关问题，正面引导舆论，避免不必要的炒作和轻易扣帽子。
咱们的防沙治沙工作搞了这么多年，而且还做了那么多的工作，为什么还是没能挡住这近10年来最强的一次沙尘暴呢？其实啊，主要的问题并不出在咱们中国的林，而是出在全球的沙。
The following image was widely circulated on Chinese online media. The Chinese state media reported the tragic disaster of 6 dead and 80 people missing in Mongolia. But it seems that the Chinese people are not entirely convinced by the government's claim.
大自然嘛，就是人类在大自然面前都是很渺小的，所以说我们在怎么说呢，就是尽量要保护环境嘛。
Since the 1990s, Beijing's air quality has continued to deteriorate, following unusual sandstorms in parts of mainland China in 2018, 2015, 2000, and other years. The top leaders of the Chinese Communist Party do not want the city of Beijing to be inundated with sand either. China has launched a series of reforestation and sand control projects in the past decade, including planting protective forests in northwest China, North China, and northeast China. In 2012, the authorities launched a Million Mu reforestation campaign, attempting to transform sandy areas into multi-species forests.
一年接着一年干，一代接着一代干。
Green waters and green mountains are like piles of gold is a slogan often used by Chinese leader Xi Jinping and promoted in Chinese media. This giant sandstorm has probably tested the faith in the party's efforts to launch a green revolution. In mid-January, a report entitled Dunhuang's Last Barrier Against Sand Nearly Lost hit the web. It described how China's Dunhuang Yangguan Forest, which used to cover over 13 kilometers squared, has been subjected to extensive logging for more than a decade. Close to 9 kilometers squared was cleared to make way for vineyards, and the area now has less than 3.33 kilometers squared of state-protected forest remaining. It is the first and last green barrier to the historical and cultural city of Dunhuang on the eastern edge of the Kumtag Desert. The loss of the Yangguan Forest opens a route from the western deserts straight to Beijing. The article from January blames the lucrative Dunhuang wine industry for deforesting the region. And not only are commercial interests involved, but the local government is also in on the business. What kind of red wine market is worth sacrificing the sweat of 3 generations of forestry and sand control workers? What's happening in Dunhuang now is only a small glimpse into the environmental destruction ravaging China. Chinese media personality Cai Jing was once one of the most famous news program hosts in the party-run media. In late February 2015, she produced a self-financed documentary about air pollution in China, Under the Dome, which was viewed nearly 200 million times on major video sites in China.
我是通过我女儿的眼睛才看见了，因为我就在华北天空下生活。
But just a few days later, the film was blocked by the CCP's Central Propaganda Department. Chai said that one of her motivations for making the documentary was that her unborn child was diagnosed with a benign tumor. This led her to start thinking about and investigating air pollution in China. As this year's sandstorm struck, more parents like Chai took to the internet to lament that it was too late for them to learn English, Japanese, or other foreign languages because they are eager to leave China for the sake of their children. We would like to invite you to subscribe. We strive to bring you the latest news, commentary, and insights out of China. Be sure to click the bell as well so that you're notified when we post new content. Now moving on.